we've all struggled, everybody struggles, the beginners all struggle with this knot, this foundation knot. This gets turned into so many different things. And so I've tried to help a few guys here because I struggled with it for a long time myself. Some of the books, they talk about bites, and when you're beginning, it's real hard to understand for some people. So I was teaching a couple guys the other night, and I come up with a way to keep them from making a mistake because they were fumbling. A lot of people are struggling with it, and it's a 6-part, 7-bite knot. And this is the foundation. So when you start, it's got to all be over one and under one. After you get this part tied, you need to learn this first. But like I said, I was just going to show a couple little shortcuts that can make a guy not make mistakes, so he can double check himself. There's a few people I know that are really good at it, and we were visiting about this knot, and they're like, yeah, I cut one off every once in a while because I get lost. So I just thought it might help some people. So when you're going under one, when you're tying up your foundation, to build it up, you got to make pairs. So you're following this string. So you just got to go through the whole button and make pairs. So you're following that one, and then you got to go under the X. Now you're following this one. I tied this button quite a little bit, under 2, and put on a lot of hackamores over the years, and was able to see some of these really good guys that got a lot more experience at the fancier stuff than I did, and I just really wanted to start going under 3 and under 4 and be able to fill it up when it's a little slacky or something. So the under 1 over 1 is what you're doing here. You're not, if you don't worry about counting anything and try to overthink this button, it's real easy. And this is a 1/2-2 button if you're a rawhider. If you know this button, you can do all kinds of cowboy gear. So now I'm just staying with my over 1 and under 1. And then just in case you get lost, this is pretty simple because it's still pretty open. You just go ahead and keep following that one right there. So I'm going to come straight out. And I know that I can't cross over that one. So then I put my all there, and I see I got a double. So I just pull my all back out and grab that double. And then I never get lost.
Now, is it safe to say, Randy, that when you come to a pair, you split it?
You always have to split the pair.
There you go. If
you don't split the pair, there's that mistake. And that's why it's best, if you don't know where you're at and you don't know you're lost, is to go ahead and poke that all in that one, and then you see that there's double there. Then just slide that. I'll show it again. You just slide that all back out. On my next pass, it's the same. This button never changes. If you're counting, if you decide you're counting everything out, it's over 1 under 1 every time unless you come to a pair. Then you split your pair.
In other words, you're making railroad tracks. When you come to railroad track, you just split it.
Yep, you got it. Yep.
Not necessarily at the top, but all the way up and down. Come to a pair, you split them. Is that safe to say?
That's exactly right. If you don't split your pairs, you're not building your knot up. So there again, I'm going to show. I'm following this one. So what I'm going to do, if you notice, my awl is flat. So this awl is ground flat. It doesn't have a point on it. It's the same width as this string. So if I think I'm going to make a mistake, I ride on the one I'm following, and then I push that over. That way I don't get lost at all. There's no way to get lost if you follow this. Then I just come, now I'm following this one. I slide my awl on. Oop, got a pair. So I just pull my awl back out and split my pair. It makes an extra step every time of the normal way anybody ties it. It's an extra step, and it's a lot slower than if you go under the 4 method. But you don't get lost when you're learning. You won't get lost if you follow this method. I've had a couple guys here at this gathering that were really struggling with it, and the other night in the hotel, they asked me to help, and they come over to the hotel, and I showed them this method, and both of them can tie this knot now, and they've been struggling with it for a long time. So that's why our gracious host Clint here asked me to maybe show it so that, you know, other people that are struggling be able to see it, or maybe those guys will buy this video, and then they won't struggle no more with it.
And I truly appreciate the openness that you exhibit here in regard to showing people this method. And that is exactly what the format of the gathering is. And there's also a saying that we have that is our creed, and that is, there are no secrets, that knowledge is useless unless it's shared. Absolutely worthless. And we know several braiders over the years that have died and taken their secrets with them. And we strive not to let that happen. We try to get everything out in the open we can, and we try to help everybody we can. And we've had people come here in the past and be with us here in the past, and they were very tight-mouthed. They didn't want to help. They wouldn't help and all that. And once they saw that everybody else was helping, you couldn't get them to shut up. And I commend them for jumping in and opening up and helping. And it really helps everybody when everybody shares. And that is the main thing that this gathering is for everybody to share.
I really feel like that one of the biggest deficits that we've had as rawhiders is the old timers did like to hide their secrets. And these gatherings like this where we can get together and share our knowledge or get help are a huge benefit to us all. And guys like Jan and Clint really need to get a pat on the back for that.
Yeah, there's no pat's given. We're all here to help. But it's really a joy to seeing somebody start to tie these buttons and go ahead and go forward with it on their journey. And this deal's addictive. I mean, my gosh, I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. When I was a little old kid, I woke up, and you went from a 4 to 6 bite on that. You increased it in the number of parts and number of bites. And I never will forget, I was probably about 5 or 6 years old, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And Daddy tried to help me and all that, you know, and everything, and he just took me so far, and he kind of expected me to go ahead and figure some of this stuff out by myself, which I did, and I retained it. But I was just a kid, and I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'd figured out how to go from 4 to 6, from a 6 to an 8, which is simple as can be.
Yeah.
But can you imagine the excitement a 6 or 5 or 6 year old kid had when he figured something like that out?
Oh, yeah.
And my daddy didn't get sleep anymore that morning.
Yeah.
Because I woke him up.
Yep.
And it was just really a cool feeling that I figured something out. And sometimes somebody that's instructing expects you to figure some of this stuff out yourself. And if you figure it out yourself, then you'll retain it. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to help somebody, but they've got to go ahead and they've got to turn the page themselves. And I sincerely believe that.
So while we're visiting here, we tied us up a pretty nice heel knot.
It's ready to go under 3 or under 4 if the string's not too crowded. That's getting pretty crowded there, and it'd be hard to go under 3 to do a 3-bite deal. But a person can go ahead and with that button, if you have the room, and come up alongside of your standing end and continue around following your standing end and crossing over. Then that brings you down a string on top and bottom, and that closes the bottom even tighter around the very bottom there. Bill Black shows that on our Rawhide video library on Facebook. And it's something that a lot of us have done for many years and everything, but that closes the bottom of a heel knot up and makes it really nice. Rather than pulling up around, it pulls it down around your base on a hackamore button or the saw button. And that's something that every braider needs to learn and try how to tie it. Like I said, all you do, go to your standing in and follow that standing in around, and you'll be all right. And you'll stay down one string lower than before, going underneath the cross on top. And again, go to Rawhide Videos Library, and there's so much information on there. Gosh, it's mind-boggling how much stuff is on there. And Bill Black has been really gracious in sharing his how-tos and everything, and why he does this and why he does that. And I encourage everybody to go there and check that site out. Jan Bogart put that site together, and we truly appreciate him.